Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Ooh, a little feedback. Feedback is good usually, but not that kind of feedback. Right. It's so wonderful to be back in person with all of you, and for Family Shabbat to be back on the program of our BHC offerings. We love Family Shabbat. We love the families who come to Family Shabbat, and we hope, if you're watching online, that maybe next month or in the next couple of months, you'll consider coming back and joining us here in the sanctuary, even though you are not currently in the sanctuary, and we are all together for this celebration of Shabbat, of the B'nai Mitzvah that we will be celebrating this weekend, and of our community coming back together. So we begin with Havana Shira.
Please join with us. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Havana Shira, Shir Hallelujah, Shir Hallelujah. Hine ma tovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. It's so good to be together. Hine ma tovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 It's a pleasure now, as we welcome Shabbat, to invite up to help us light candles with a little reading. Invite up Mark and Nicole Samuels to join us along with Joan and Steve Schiller. Up here at our candle table, we'll have a little reading, and then we'll bless candles together. All the way up. Yep. Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Shabbat shalom. Mazel tov.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who but behold us.
Should we do the Hebrew?
As the Shabbat candles give light.
No.
This one too.
Okay,
Okay.
you
Can you
do.
see it?
I think so.
Okay. As their
Their
brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so we may, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
And we bless together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Thank you, everybody. And now, as we move into the blessing over our Kiddush, it's a pleasure to invite up Dylan and Emily Samuel. Come on up, guys. Along with Jessica Schiller. And of course, our B'nai Mitzvah, Orla and Zach.
Should we stand here?
Sure, yeah. You guys want to stand? Great. Let's see, and I'm just looking for Kiddush cups.
Over by your table.
By my table. Ah, here we are, on this
I had
side.
to look as well.
Thank you. All right. Before we continue with readings for Kiddush, I have 2 Kiddush cups here, one for Orla and one for Zach, and I know that because they have your initials on them, guys. So, take a look. Zach, do those look like correct initials? Yeah? Orla, yours look good? Yeah. Okay. So, these Kiddush cups are presented by our Brotherhood and the women of BHC. We hope that you will use these Kiddush cups on your Jewish journey and always remember this beautiful weekend with your family, with your community here at BHC. So with that, we have a little reading before our Kiddush. Here we go. Dylan and Emily, you guys are going to kick us off, right? And then Jessica? Here we go. Okay. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3.
And there was evening, and there was morning. The 6th day, the heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the 7th day, God finished the work that God had been doing.
Beautiful. You guys.
Very difficult. Oh, sorry. And God ceased on the 7th day from all work that God had done. And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Thank you. Please rise. Zach will now read for us the Friday night Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam barei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitanu b'mitzvotav v'rasa vanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvrason hin hilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu ki dashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu
Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim, everyone. Great job, Zach. So we'll wash this and we'll give it back to you tomorrow, okay? Mazel tov. Great job. Thank you, guys. So yeah, I'll take the Kiddush cups. That's perfect. And we'll wash them and have it ready for you tomorrow.
Beautiful job standing here. Really, really excellent. Mazel tov. Please be seated. I don't think I've ever heard a better introduction to the Kiddush.
That was
than
fantastic.
that
I
one.
agree.
That really was magnificent.
Yes.
And with the Kiddush, we celebrate and offer our gratitude not only for the joy that is in that cup, the wine or the juice in this case, but for the day itself, for the day of Shabbat. And so as we welcome Shabbat into our midst, this Shabbat on which we have so many b'nai mitzvah, so many reasons to celebrate, and so much joy at being back here together, we turn now to Lecha Dodi to welcome and to express our gratitude for this day of Shabbat.
Please join with us. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat mekabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat mekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad, ishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, Hihi mekor haberacha, merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'mashavat chilai la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simecha u'betzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, penei penei Shabbat nekavela.
Please rise for Baruch Hu.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla lai lai lai, 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 ya la lai lai lai, ya la lai lai lai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Ya la lai lai lai, 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 ya la lai lai lai.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
We'll invite Orla to please come up and join us and lead us now in our Ve'ahavta. You can still say it if you want.
Ve'achavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol vavacha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha vechayu chadvarim cha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha chayom alevavecha V'chartan levanecha v'dibarta ba b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'adere ushartecha uvekumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha v'chayu letotafot bein einecha Uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizgaru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim leilo lechem ani Adonai Elohechem Asher chotzei tiatchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihyot lechem lelochim ani Adonai Elohechem.
Thank you, Orla. Previews tonight of coming attractions. And so we turn now to our Micha Mocha, our song for freedom. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar B'Kodesh. Nora Tehilot Osei Felech, Nora Tehilot Osei Felech, Adonai Imloch לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Nora, Nora tehilot, osei velech. Nora tehilot, osei velech. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
We continue with Vishamru, celebrating the day of Shabbat.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. לדורותם ברית עולם, לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise for tefillah.
Together. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Adonai sifatai tiftach Ufi yagid tefilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechaye hakol, Atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofeh koholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech memit umechaye umatmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman ata lehachayot hakol Baruch ata Adonai mechaye hakol.
Please be seated. For the gifts I received today, air in my lungs, pulse in my veins, my restless mind alive and curious, awakening suddenly to beauty, for love and the memory of love, forgiveness when I didn't deserve it, another chance at life. Together, let my soul give thanks
to you. Let me not forget your kindness. Together, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, טסים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם.
We take a few moments for silent prayer.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We think this evening of the members of our community who are sick, and we pray that they be returned to health, to wholeness. Patricia Abend, Gail Adamson, Nathaniel Agan, June Bell, Jacob Bennis, Bella Berman, Cindy Blake, Dale Bookbinder, Christian Burdett, Leslie Kaplan, Natalie Conrad, George Dover, Sherry Einhorn, David Elkis, Deborah Angerman, Bob Fichette, Sarah Rachel Botfredel, Elaine Gammerman, Lynn Garrison, Roseanne Gerstel, Andrew Goldberg, Claire Goldstein, Arnold Gresser, Bonnie Jacobson, Arnold Katz, David Kirkston, Lenny Kinlan, Joseph Klein, Rachel Letterman, Piper Levine, Christopher Maderi, Barry Mendelson, Craig Parham, Patricia Pollock, Bob Sachs, Susan Samuels, Marilyn Schaftel, Ruth Subert, Donald Silver, Arnold Sindler, Elizabeth Smith, Takia Smith, Amy Sponseller, Peter Street, David I. Tossman, Leslie Waldman, Arlene Wiener, Ryan Wills, Yisrael Ben Moshe, Trudy Yohe, Selena Young, and Warren Yuspa.
מי שברך אמותינו מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say together, Amen.
It's my pleasure now to invite one of our confirmation students to the Bima to share some of her thoughts about this week's Torah portion. I know that it will be an incredible Devar Torah. I know that because Lana Bishop told me that it was an incredible Devar Torah. Lana Bishop.
Cue sitcom applause track. Shabbat Shalom, and may the force be with you. Even though that is my greeting, again, this is not a sequel to my Devar Torah for my B'nai Mitzvah, 5 years ago? Because most of you weren't there, so this one is completely unrelated to the other one. Last time, I was talking about cooking and telling the wonderful story about a guy named Bob. And this time, I'm going to be talking about diseases, which is truly a relatable jump from the 2010s to 2020. Speaking of, for Hanukkah in 2019, I asked for and received a mug that said #plague because I thought it was funny. So I truly apologize if everything was my fault. Anyway, the Torah portion this week is called Parshat Metzorah. It's usually paired with last week's portion, but it isn't this year. This half of the portion is about the proper procedures to do when someone has a disease that was thought to be leprosy, but it might not be that. Either way, the treatments may or may not work, and here's why. These treatments in the Torah are for someone who doesn't have symptoms anymore. This is a summary of what the Torah says to do. A priest has to get 2 birds and kill one and release the other one. Then the diseased person has to shave off all of their hair and bathe, and then go back to the camp and sleep outside his house for 7 days. And after the 7 days, you have to shave and wash yourself again. On the 8th day, a priest has to sacrifice some lambs, and then the patient is clean. Also, you have to do the bird sacrifice ritual if a house has leprosy. Anyway, this is definitely not a scientific treatment, but staying clean and socially distancing helps stop the spread of disease, as we all know. The thing with the birds definitely doesn't help at all, though. The priests here definitely aren't trying to do an effective medical cure for a disease, but it's the thought that counts. So, we have ineffective and arguably spiritual treatments. You know what that reminds me of? Plague doctor memes. That's right, I have found a way to include these bird mask-clad absolute goth icons in my Devar Torah. One common treatment in ye olde plague times was leeches, since every disease was believed to be demons or ghosts in your blood. The obvious solution was, of course, to remove some of your blood. Oh, you don't have enough blood now? Doesn't matter. Nothing you can do about that anymore. Also, bloodletting was just cutting someone and then draining their blood, which was worse. Those bird masks were actually stuffed with herbs. Great to stop the smell of corpses, not great at blocking germs. It's just another spiritual thing, although putting a bunch of cilantro behind your cloth or paper face mask probably won't make it any less effective. If your name is SCP-049-J, your plague doctor mask is stuffed with tissues, moss, and other smaller plague doctor masks. Speaking of SCP-049-J, this is what he does when you have a cold. He also fled the scene to purchase an even pointier wooden doctor stick. Anyway, back to regular plague doctors. I will not elaborate any more about this plague fellow. Isn't this just the dream? We should have brought this back. This article is from April 2020, and despite it being about 2 years later, it's not too late. Yeah, this is just my entire Devar Torah summed up in one image. And that brings us to today, hopefully not in the middle of a pandemic, because that would mean we have multiple years left. There's been a lot of weird disease prevention and cure strategies I've discussed today, but that's because we now have a modern perspective. Now, my favorite type of speculative fiction story is setting it like 7 years in the future from when it's being written and not making any guesses about what future technology is going to be because it won't affect the plot of the story that much. But today we're going to do regular speculative fiction and analyze the strategies at different points in the pandemic for dealing with the COVID-19 virus and what people in the future would think. One weird thing people did was wash all of their groceries in Amazon boxes before bringing them inside of their house. It is unknown whether this did anything, since this is something people did in like April 2020 and not anymore, because at this point, everyone is completely unfazed by anything anymore. However, we do know that COVID-19 is a respiratory disease and is thus not transmitted by touching an unclean surface, so it probably doesn't do anything. It's been proven that the deep cleaning procedure is unnecessary, especially when you're not raising the wages of cleaning workers. Additionally, all of the plexiglass shields don't do anything either, because they usually have gaps between them, or the little money slot underneath in banks. The plexiglass is a thing we still have for some reason. My engineering teacher has some plexiglass panels around his desk and has repeatedly said that it's not for safety reasons anymore. He just doesn't feel like removing them. Fun secret fact, BHC was going to put up some plexiglass at some point about 1.5 years ago on the BEMA, but they decided not to, which was a very good choice.
Thank you.
All right, I hope everyone in the audience has learned something today. If you didn't, I hope you were at least entertained. Make sure to stay safe by washing your hands often, socially distancing from people not in your cohort, and doing other types of anti-plague procedures that actually work. Most importantly, avoid sacrificing birds, especially if you're not a rabbi. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Lana was right. It was excellent. And even if you are a rabbi, please don't sacrifice birds. We don't do that anymore.
And we did almost put up plexiglass.
And we did almost put up plexiglass.
Yeah.
But thank you, Lana, for confirming that was a good choice. We felt like it was a good choice at
That's
the time.
Right. Yeah. Please run with us. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam shalom. Odievo. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu. Odievo shalom aleinu ve'al kulam.
Please rise.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and I thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more war, and our children will pray. Someday, 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 oh, someday, someday, someday. Aleinu lishabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך הכל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה Adonai echad u'shemo echad. One day, one day, one day, oh, one day, one day, one day. Please be seated.
We pause for a moment of silent remembrance as we prepare for Mourner's Kaddish. On this Shabbat, we remember in the period of Shloshim, the 30 days, Eliezer ben Miriam, Samantha Barksdale, Louis Berkowitz, Rose Covens, Norman Gold, Hyman Seldowitz, Stephen Michael Miller, Stanley Beck, and Dominic Cristofaro. We also remember the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of the deaths of Milton Baer, Jacob Bernstein, Ruth Bloom, Sarah Blumberg, Harold Brooks, Albert Kaplan, Maura Chinich, Henry Daniels, Henry Dillon, Shelley Earl, Gerald Huffberger, Anna Hyman, Lena Isaacson, Minnie Isikoff, Herman Kahn, Rebecca Kravitz, Jeanette Kushner, Sarah Mandel, Anna Marks, Shirley Marks, Vicky Margolis, Julie Marks, Susan Mermelstein, Lynn Meyerhoff, Edward Paul, Marcia Pearson, Abraham G. Rice, Mary Rosen, Ruth Blaustein Rosenberg, Abram Rosenthal, Helena Rosenthal, Anna Sagalnik, Ray Schaefer, Israel Schwartz, Nathaniel Schwartz, Manuel Schneider, Minnie Silver, Marvin Solomon, Sylvan Spear, William Steinberg, Ida Stoffberg, Joseph Troy, Blanche Yohlfelder, Aaron Vogler, Ignaz Weisberg, and Louis Wilner. We invite those who are in mourning and those observing yahrzeit to rise first. And we invite those who wish to stand with them in sacred community to please do so now. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chaye echon uvyom echon, uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olamei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shmei d'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and all those who inhabit the earth. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. My pleasure to invite Lauren Kornblatt to share some announcements with us.
Shabbat Shalom. BHC is currently mask optional. One wing of the sanctuary is mask required. Those attending should be fully vaccinated and boosted. On Saturday, join us for 9 a.m. Torah Talk on Zoom. Shabbat morning service is at 10:30 a.m. as we celebrate with Nicole and Mark Samuel when their son Zach becomes a bar mitzvah. Our Shabbat Mincha service is at 5 p.m. as we celebrate with Jessica Schiller and Colin Starger when their daughter Orla becomes a bat mitzvah. Join us on April 12th at noon. Wise Aging continues on Zoom Tuesdays in April. This is a chance to consider and learn the next chapter in your life. Congregants Phyllis Coleman and John Shore are our trained Wise Aging facilitators. Also on April 12th at 7:30 p.m., Music and Meaning presents Latin Cello. Brazilian cellist Diego Camarera, joins, what was it? Is it good enough? Okay, good. Joins pianist and artistic director Daniel Weiser as we hear great composers from Latin America. This series is made possible by the Peggy and Yale Gordon Trust. Next Friday, we will have a brief Shabbat service, understanding that it is also Erev Passover. Rabbi Sachs Cohen will lead our second Seder on Zoom on April 16th at 5 p.m. We have so much to celebrate and new officers and board members to elect. So please join us for the Friday annual meeting. I believe that's April 29th, in person or via stream. Night of the Stars will be on Thursday, May 12th. Buy your tickets to enjoy Henry Winkler and honor Bobby and Aaron Perlman. Following services, join us in the lobby for an Owning Shabbat. Learn more about these and other BHC opportunities from our website, the Temple Bulletin, and our emails. We thank our rabbi and our cantor and our musicians and Harry for their help. Shabbat Shalom. I'll just leave that there.
Just want to underscore that the second night Seder, which is going to be virtual, is going to be at 5 o'clock. It was advertised earlier as 6 o'clock, but it will be at 5 o'clock. Please join us if you would like to join us online. Orla and Zach, would you come up again for a minute? Which do you want? Which one do you want? This one? You can take this one. Take this one. Yeah, let's go. Take this one. Zach and Orla, we hope that you're going to put that out in front of your houses so that the whole neighborhood can rejoice and celebrate with you. Mazel tov. That sounds terrible to Zach. Orla's maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah. But Mazel tov, we're so proud of you and excited to celebrate with you tomorrow.
We'll conclude together with Olam Chesed. May we build this world from love. Should we rise?
Let's rise.
Let's rise. Everyone, please rise as we stand for a better world. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. And Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. I will build this world from love. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. You must build this world from love. Yalalai, 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 yalalai. And if we build this world from love, yalalai, 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 then God this world from love. Ya la la, ya la, ya la la la. Olam chesed yibaneh. Ya la la, ya la, ya la la la. Olam chesed yibaneh. Ya la la, ya la, ya la la la. Olam chesed yibaneh. Ya la la, ya la, ya la la la. Olam chesed yibaneh. Ya la la, ya la, ya la la la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom.
As we have gathered here this evening to celebrate our joy in Shabbat, our joy at our young people, may we be blessed as we leave this place as well, encountering neither plague nor plague doctors. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.